Hello and welcome to the Nerd Age Podcast. This is a show we talk about everything nerdy. My name is Jonah. I'm here with Corey.
Yo.
And I'm Josh.
What's up?
We're going to jump right into some random news today, trailer talk and other stuff. But we're going to start off the show with a bit of a downer. James Earl Jones passed away today. 93. I mean, he lived a long life.
Pretty good.
You know, but obviously iconic, the voice of Darth Vader. If it weren't for him,
we would have
Darth Vader wouldn't have been what he is today.
Yeah, it would be a British.
Have you ever heard
I have.
Sebastian Shaw or whoever it is that's doing the voice? Yeah. Pretty brutal.
It's bad. But yeah. Sad news. Like I said, 93 years old. So
do we know, was it just like natural
I think
causes
I thought I read was like he had diabetes and it was that kind of, you know. But man, as a huge Star Wars fan, like that voice is just, it sticks with you.
Iconic, nostalgic.
Mufasa.
You
know.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. The Sandlot.
What a great voice.
I didn't know he's an EGOT, but the Oscar is technically an honorary Oscar, but he has an Emmy and he has a Grammy.
So it's an honorary
and he has a Tony.
EGOT.
Honorary EGOT.
Honorary.
I mean, he got 3 out of the 4. That's pretty good.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I automatically think of this is how I heard it. The micro. Have you ever heard that one?
Oh yeah, the way I heard it.
The way I heard it. Yeah, that one's good. There's one about James Earl Jones, which is kind of a spoiler for it. The whole point of it is that you don't know who he's talking about. But just go looking through, you know. You'll never know. Be surprised. Be like, is this a James Earl Jones one? Is it this one?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be surprised.
He has a really good Bruno Mars one too.
I think I've heard that one. But we're not talking about Bruno Mars today, bro.
But yeah, just sad news. Like I said, I was thinking as, you know, Carrie Fisher passed away and, you know, multiple of the original Star Wars
Cast
actors as they pass, you're kind of like, we're getting down to the last few, which is pretty crazy and kind of just a sad thought. But at the same time, they live on in the memories and the fact that they've had such an impact in pop culture, but even just in our lives, like the aspect of growing up watching Star Wars, the voice of Darth Vader, like everything about that is just iconic. And so sad news, but R.I.P. James Earl Jones. Everyone's missing you. So we're going to move on. There's no real segue from that, but we're going to talk about a couple trailers. We're going to do some trailer talk here.
Yeah.
And we're going to start off right off the bat with one of the most anticipated movies of all time.
Yeah.
This just came out of nowhere. It blew me away. Minecraft movie.
Minecraft movie.
Corey, I'm going to let you start off with this one. Just give us your first thoughts.
I mean, when I started watching it, I was like, oh, is this a real trailer? Like, is this the real thing?
It felt like an SNL skit a little bit.
It felt a little SNL-y, yeah, like a skit, like a fanfic.
Like when they did the Mario Kart SNL like trailer.
Like the in-game, like the renders and cool were like the renders things were like cool, like the models and the way they did it, like I was fine with. But then you just like plop regular human beings in like kind of outfit, like they're in like random outfits and like they're just like green screen. Obviously, green screened in it. The green screening didn't look great. Like it's hard to make live action people in a 3D cartoon world look like it fit. It's like they have to embrace this super goofy aspect of it. And so I'm not sure if a lot of people are expecting that. I don't know what people were expecting. I was hoping it was 3D. I know that it was live action, but I don't know. I was hoping maybe they'd like do a thing where they transform into 3D or something. I guess I just didn't know a lot. So I wasn't expecting that. So I was very shocked.
Well, and the Jason Momoa casting, like his outfit, his hair, just... I don't know. It looked goofy to me.
He's played an interesting character.
I just, like you said, it's jarring.
It was super jarring, yeah.
And I feel like my little rant with this is, I feel like Hollywood gets these ideas like, oh, this did really well, so let's do that. It reminded me of Jumanji.
Yeah.
Like the whole aspect of, like even down to some of the similar cast, Jack Black.
It looked like the studio, like the same studio did it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this really worked. Let's do this.
Let's sub out Jason Momoa for The Rock, though.
Right, similar with like Borderlands, like the whole like the cast. It just feels like they were like, hey, let's just get the same guys again. Like Jack Black's good at this. People love Jack Black, right? He was in a Mario movie. He was Bowser. He was in Jumanji. He was in Borderlands.
Yeah.
You know, like let's just get him to do another guy. Let's just get him to do Steve.
Yeah.
It just seems, I don't know, uninspired.
Did Jumanji do good? I don't think
Jumanji did insanely
really?
well.
Yeah, really.
I think it broke $1 billion.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah.
Borderlands didn't, so.
No, Borderlands did.
So I get
bombed.
why they did it, but I don't know. Having him be Steve is so weird. Because when you think of Steve, he's like the default skin, right? So it's like he should be a generic looking guy.
Not
Jack Black is not generic looking. He's the most character. He's like, I'm Steve. And it's like, what is this? Oh, man. It is funny. I mean, it looked funny. Like, I don't know.
Are we in the Jack Black-a-thons?
I think we are, dude.
Mario, Borderlands, Jumanji, Minecraft.
Mando.
He was in
We're just
Star
living in
Wars.
his
I
world.
mean,
Yeah.
this guy is everywhere.
Oh, man.
I'm
It
not
was just
interested in the movie.
It was weird though because like some of the like details were like really not correct, and I don't know. It just looked like a studio who didn't really know Minecraft super well. I mean, hopefully it's better, but like I don't know. I don't know where a blue portal like that's from, and there's a lot of little details.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not consistent. But
Well, it's going to be the dumb made up thing of like, we found a computer that was left on and we got sucked into the Minecraft
Yeah,
world.
That's what they did with Space Jam 2.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, where he gets sucked in.
so they did with Tron. Okay, they're all copying
it's all
Tron.
Yeah, it all comes back to Tron. I did see like
Who knows?
I've never played Minecraft in my life, I
me a
don't plan on.
It's fun, bro.
I'm sure
It's
it is
fun, bro.
Hey, some of the crazy Lord of the Rings.
I'll tell you what, Josh.
When they make Minas Tirith in Minecraft, that
yeah.
absolutely insane.
You would have fun because you can make things and you build sick buildings. You'd be like, dude, I want this to look like an elven building. And you like start figuring out how to make like arches and stuff. It's fun. I think you would like that aspect. I'll tell you what, if you had a kid, you'd play Minecraft.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You know, it's like, it'd be a really cool middle, like teaching a kid how to play a game and sharing that time with them. I remember playing Minecraft with Ethan and Jason when they were kids, and I made little adventures for them. I made like battle towers that they had to conquer, and at the end they'd have like treasure and stuff. There's a reason why it's like one of the highest grossing games.
Yeah, it's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. I mean, Ethan was like, "What's up with the graphics?" I'm like, "What did you expect it to look like Minecraft?" Like, come on, bro.
He's like, it looks too good. It looks too good to be Minecraft.
Yeah.
In theaters? Are you watching in theaters? Right now, tell me opening night. You going opening night?
No, not opening
You
night.
getting that popcorn
I'll
bucket?
go first weekend.
Okay.
I'd go first weekend just to check it out.
Dude, they better have a square popcorn bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
No,
A diamond block.
square popcorn.
Oh, even better.
It's like you can't pick it up because it's two-dimensional. It's not a cube, it's a square. You're like,
Like tortilla chips, just thin.
okay.
The other trailer that we're going to talk about is Arcane Season 2. We finally... we had gotten a little tease, but now we got a first full trailer.
Much anticipated. Highly anticipated.
Artwork looks amazing again.
They didn't lose it.
But I think I probably have to rewatch Season 1 because I was like, oh, wait, why did it leave off? But
I don't think it's too long to not do that.
No.
I think I'll do the same thing. I have a friend who he got his wife to play League of Legends because of Arcane.
nice.
Isn't that crazy?
Gateway
Wife.
drug.
That's a good
And
wife.
she's
right
not
there.
a person that would be like, yeah, she was a gamer. It's crazy. But I would watch it again to get refreshed.
Yeah, it looks sick. I'm excited for it. And you said it's the final. Apparently it's the final season.
They're
No
ending
more?
it with season 2 done.
Nice, short and sweet. That's what I like.
I like complete stories.
Yeah.
I don't like being just hung out and like, oh, they might go fishing for more money. Like, they'll have they might not have all the knots tied at the end to maybe have other like
Spin-off.
Oh, maybe they have Echo Story or something like that, or whoever, or the what's his name? Not Dr. Mundo, but the guy who was like had all the injection stuff. He was an underground guy. He was into the crazy like growth stuff. He might have an offshoot. Who knows? But I just know that they have a lot of lore. They have a lot of cool characters. So many characters, And I know that they're making an MMO, and so
Nice.
there's plenty of story to be delved into. So I'm stoked for it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Is that,
Comes out in November.
November, okay. Sweet. And that gives us something to talk about.
That's right.
Great, something good.
Eating good in the neighborhood. Josh, did you want to say anything about it, or you just want to sit there?
It looks real good. Looks real pretty.
Looks real pretty. Yeah, her gloves look sick.
I mean, her suit looks sweet. I mean, the way it ended was like she shot the
council.
the council, and it seems like
She killed.
she killed him. That's what,
done did kill him.
that's what it seems like. So we'll see if that actually happened, because that would be pretty. I mean, I feel like that happens in shows a lot of time where they're like, they blew him up, and they're like, one guy died.
Yeah,
Everyone's miraculously okay.
Barely live.
Oh wow,
The temp died.
So
poor guy making copies.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
It was his last day of his internship.
The intern died. Dang it. Well, let's get the other guy.
yeah. But if they stick with that, that'd be pretty. I mean, I like bold choices, so that'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, it looks great. I'm excited for it.
Over under, we get another cameo from Imagine Dragons doing a little music video.
I don't know.
50%. Over 50%, under 50%.
You think they do another
Under.
song? You think they'll do another song?
I think so. Because it's like, isn't it their thing? Like,
League
Imagine
of Legends,
Dragons
bro.
is like their...
They've done at least 2 songs, I think, for League of Legends. Or one for sure.
in a concert, right? Like they played
They
at...
played at the World Championships. But they've also had other, like, big stars like K-pop stars and stuff like that.
Taylor Swift.
I mean, they had Sting. The Sting song is amazing.
That's. Hey, why don't we get a Sting cameo in there?
Did you guys
I'd be
know,
down.
Did you guys know DJ Khaled did a show for Overwatch?
Another one.
He did a
not do
show.
well.
Oh, like a concert.
Kind of. Like they were at a tournament and he was like, I don't know, halftime entertainment. I don't know what you want to call it.
DJ
He came out. I think
Khaled.
this started off. I think he came out. He's like, yo, another one. And he started performing.
We're the best music.
we the
one.
best. Yeah. I don't think it did very well. You might want to look
course
it
not.
up.
I mean, I would imagine
Have you seen the greatest DJ Khaled video of him
with the guitar.
with Bob Marley?
Oh,
They send him
baby,
a guitar,
dude. It's so good.
and he's like, he reads it, and he's like, oh, like this is Fender or someone sends him like this replica guitar of like they're only making 100 or whatever, and so he reads it off. He's like, wow, that's really good. So he's like, grabs it and starts just like playing, but he doesn't know how to play. Open chords. Yeah. Oh man, this is amazing. Oh, it's so cringeworthy, dude. It's the worst thing ever.
He leaned into it.
And he as if he's playing, and he's like, wow, this is amazing. And he's just like starts trying to sing.
Another one.
What's great is he has he has his housekeeper read the letter. He's like, "Would you read this for us, Maria?
Yeah.
Can you read that for me?" I was like, "I don't think he knows how to read, dude."
It's so bad. I'll send it to you. Check it out if you haven't. Just search DJ Khaled, Bob Marley guitar.
DJ Khaled, most awkward moment.
No, Bob Marley guitar.
Oh.
You'll find it.
Awkward moment.
Everyone made a bunch of videos where he's like starts playing, but they like do other songs over it. It's pretty great. We're excited for Arcane. Comes out in November. Netflix been doing some really cool animation stuff. I know they've been doing it for a while, but really cool. What was our next thing? Did you say you had something else, or are we just going into Rings of Power?
I mean, did you want to talk the rumors? Rumors.
Yeah.
There is a rumor.
This rumor is gonna blow your mind.
And I'm going to allow it because it is semi-nerdy.
According to the Sun,
And according to the Sun.
that we may be getting a sequel to The Goonies, directed by Steven Spielberg. The original cast coming back, those that are still alive and those that are still in good graces. I don't think Corey Feldman's going to be able to come back.
Probably not.
But
Is he a criminal or something or what?
no, but he's like,
crazy.
he's nuts.
A little crazy.
So he came.
crazy.
He's come out and said stuff like, "Well, when I was a child actor, like all these people in Hollywood molested me and stuff like that." But he's like in a band. His stuff is crazy. It's just like he's kind of a laughing stock right now.
Well, maybe he'll come back for a revenge.
Maybe revenge tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's rumors that
Goonies confirmed by the Sun only though. That's kind of weird. a little sus.
that Steven Spielberg would direct and Sean Astin would be getting the crew back together.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin, and everybody.
Josh
So
Brolin.
I'd be interested in seeing it. I think it'd be cool. But what do you guys think? Are you guys?
No, what are the odds on that?
I'm going with a 60%.
60%?
Over 50.
With the sun.
Steven Spielberg
That's
he's
likely.
he's itching for some new project.
I feel like people have been talking about this for years. Like it's always been the movie that's like, oh, like gonna make a Goonies sequel.
I mean, I think it makes sense because a lot of these IPs are going back and like, hey, yo, there's still untapped money. We could get some nostalgia.
And people
cooking.
love Goonies.
And Goonies, if you do a new Goonies, you could kind of maybe get the younger people, kids on board. Stranger Things, ever heard of it? Well, it did really well. So why not Goonies?
Exactly.
I think it's
Maybe Jack Black to play somebody.
One-eyed Willie.
I'm gonna give it a
No.
35% chance.
35%. Corey?
20.
20.
Ooh.
I don't
I'm the
believe the
highest.
sun.
I'm the highest.
The sun.
You never know. They could, the sun's
Google said it's true. So you can always believe Google.
Google.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln used to say, "Always trust what Google says."
And the sun said 2016. Sorry, going back in time. 2026.
2026.
So that'd be interesting.
We should start filming next year, is what they said, and then come out for 2026. So
yeah,
would be very interesting. I remember just something. Matt Reeves talking about we've wanted more information on the Batman. He's talked about he's almost done with his script, which is good. I'm glad he's still doing it because I was a little scared with all James Gunn stuff. But he's talking about how the Batman's not going to go into a fantastical area. Like they're not going to do it's just going to be grounded, more realistic, which I like that. But he was talking about they're going to continue kind of that whole idea of, the corruption and how there's a mystery into the corruption and how it goes a lot deeper. So I thought that was interesting that he's kind of keep going in that similar vein.
It's going to be deep state stuff.
Yeah, just, the families, some people saying the Court of Owls would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I just think that's, let's keep doing that. Don't make it really big. You don't need to bring Superman into this universe. You don't need to do all this other kind of stuff. It's just keep it just Batman and his rogues gallery. That'd be really cool. So I'm glad that's happening and it didn't get canceled. He's still working on it. So that's a good. And people are saying The Penguin is really good. The show comes out this month, I think.
Cool.
But people that have seen it have said that people are going to really like it. So I'm excited for that.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bummed out. I wanted Mr. Freeze or Clayface.
I feel like you can still do Clayface.
Not if he's saying grounded.
Well, okay. You can still do Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, you're right. Mr. Freeze is still a bit crazy.
Yeah, but he could have cold patches that he puts on people.
Like icy hot?
Yeah.
Like ice packs?
Yeah. Brain freeze. Brain freeze.
Oh, that helps my knee. Bro, he's a hero at that point.
Yeah, everyone loves him.
My back's been acting up, but Mr. Freeze came by. Put a cold pack on me.
Freeze, can you hook a brother up?
I mean, I would be excited for a Court of Owls story.
Yeah,
but
that would fit.
That fits the corruption.
Yeah, and the
side
universe
of things, and more of the gangster stuff. But I was really hoping for a live action Clayface, but so
that would be. I guess
I
feel like you could still.
You could tone it down, dude.
I guess
you could tone it down.
You could tone it down where it's just his face is
Clay, it's clay mask, clay face, literally clay face, just face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just face. Clay just face. We meet again. I never knew.
Not too fantastic. Though.
Yeah, not that crazy.
Well, I thought
he just was really good at putting makeup on. I thought he was going to
be more because I feel like the animated series did Mr. Freeze still grounded. I feel like you can still do Mr. Freeze grounded.
Yeah, but
the ones that I'm thinking that are over the top are Poison Ivy, who can control plants and that kind of stuff. Mad Hatter, who goes into I still feel like you could do Clayface and Mr. Freeze that's still not fantastical but just more grounded. That story of Mr. Freeze and Nora is really
What are the most grounded bad guys in Batman? Riddler?
I mean, all the gangsters, Falcone and
Falcone,
yeah,
The Penguin, probably.
Penguin. Is Joker's pretty grounded?
Yeah. And the way they're doing
that,
the way they're doing, well, he did show up in the scene.
Yeah.
And he has more of a condition where it's not just like.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, when we're talking about down to earth, grounded, Batman's the one for you, for sure. I'm excited about it. I think there's so much trash out there that I'm like, it would be refreshing to have the Batman style story again. That'd be great. Sweet. Sounds good.
Excited for it. That's going to do it for just the random news. We're going to jump into our Rings of Power. We're finally going to get to discuss the first 4 episodes.
We haven't talked about it at all.
Not at all, no.
Yeah.
Are you caught up with the 4?
I am.
Are you good?
Oh, I'm caught with the 4.
We're going to... Episodes 1 through 4, Rings of Power. If you're not watching, go
Get
back
lost.
and watch.
Oh.
If you're not
Get
watching
lost.
because you don't
Heck
like
out of
it, you didn't like the first season, well, you can listen to us talk about it, and hopefully we can convince you to go watch it.
Guys, make up your own mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just going to... I think this season is better than the last one so far. I have a few complaints about some of the characters that I just think are unnecessary. There's a lot of kind of going back and forth between characters, and some of them I'm not as interested in the storytelling. I feel like that happened in season 1 as well. Yeah. I think they're trying to tell too big of a story with different things, and some of the things aren't interesting to me. Mm-hmm. The one that's not interesting to me at all, which I feel like they tied up in episode 4, was Theo. That character, where he's like, I'm angry at my elf stepdad, like, I'm just like...
You think that's tied up?
Well,
it's
he
not
stayed.
tied up.
I don't think he's showing up that much.
I'm just saying they're not going to have that dynamic who's like, you don't talk to me no more. Like, my mom's dead now because of you. Like, that was just like, it just felt forced.
But why did they do that if they're not going to keep pursuing his story? Like,
well, maybe they will.
You're
But
just,
what I'm
you're
saying
just saying that aspect of it.
That aspect of it, because I feel like that was
yes,
resolved.
yes.
Like, he's like, hey, I respect you now.
Yeah, they are moving on
And
from that. Yes.
I'm glad, because I didn't want that for the whole season to then be like,
You know my dad.
yeah, exactly. You know, my, yeah, exactly.
That was
And he was
exactly
like,
what it
he's
was.
like, are you sure about that? I haven't seen your ears yet, boy.
You're not
That's what he should have said.
He's like,
You're exactly right.
everyone
exactly
in my
what it is.
family has a birthmark. It's a lembas leaf. So that was the one that I was like, I'm glad they resolved that. I think we're gonna find out. I think he's gonna end up being one of the ring wraiths.
Yeah, I think so. I think even then, them calling
he'd be
him
easy.
calling him, oh, you're Lord of Pelargil now or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's a good setup to be like, he's gonna go up, he's gonna be a leader of this town. And then easy for
gonna get
Sauron
one
to
of
be
the
like, hey, do you really want to be a healer? Here's a ring that'll actually help you heal people.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a good.
Because he's got so many weaknesses,
Yeah.
He'd be easy.
But I've really liked it for the most part. I think the music is awesome. Visually, it looks great. I'm kind of iffy on a little bit of the Galadriel Elrond stuff. I feel like they're trying to make them antagonistic on purpose, and I don't know if that's like. I'm still not sold on it.
Yeah,
it's going to depend how
to create tension.
Yes, and for me, it's kind of. I don't know. That's up in the air. That's yet to be decided. But what do you guys think so far?
I think I'm in the same boat of like, I think this season is a lot better than season 1, which I still like season 1, but I feel like story wise and acting wise, it's a lot better. I think getting rid of the whole, is Halbrand Sauron or isn't he Sauron? I think getting rid of that has really helped the show a lot, because now it just allows the actor that plays Sauron to be like, I can fully lean into it instead of being like, I'm just kind of mentioning, I'm saying things that are a little sketchy, but I'm a good guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he's done a really good job so far. I like the whole intro with him, like the prologue, basically.
With that was cool.
To see like how he basically became Halbrand.
That was
and
cool.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. This is how their paths did cross, and I didn't mind that.
I think I think they didn't do a good job of showing how much time passed.
Yeah.
That's correct.
They kind of just showed
I didn't know how much. How much was it? Like
hundreds of years.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they just show you like
They showed
the
him-
cave, and then they're like, they show you the cave again, and there's like more stalagmite basically. So you're like, oh, how much time passed?
Yeah.
But I think most people were like,
I was like,
it seems
like this was last week.
I was like, yeah, that's what I thought.
He like consumed a rat and then like grew, and then he consumed the human, and then like that went really quick. So I assumed, like he just like up leveled really quick. by consuming living beings. Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, it took me a while to realize.
Years?
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
It took me a while to realize that because I was like, was this like a week passed after the blood had pooled?
Yeah,
and I was like, but that wouldn't make any sense because everyone was like, Sauron's been gone forever, and then I was like, and then he goes straight to being shipwrecked. I was like, oh wait, no, it's time. When he went when he went to sea, that's where I was like, oh, a lot of time passed, but when it was just the goop,
right? Yeah,
but
so he was just he dropped down into the little pool, and then he was there for,
and it goes black,
and then it comes back. Yeah.
See, I think this is a rare occurrence where I think I would have preferred. Some people might call it cheesy, but the
300 years
later.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They do a little thing that says
with it.
Early at the dawn of the second age. They could have done something.
Yeah, but
they could have given a year.
But they didn't say like, oh yeah, and this is after that.
Yeah, that's what they could have done. They could have been like,
whatever. Yeah.
Not the dawn of the second age no more.
They could have done a little timer at the bottom.
It would have came off a lot better, and it would have given you an idea of how ancient he is and like how old he is and how, you know what I mean, how powerful he is.
And the problem is because then I was like, that doesn't make any sense because I was like, Adar killed him, but I was like, Adar's an elf.
Yeah.
So he lives for a long time.
Right.
So the fact that when you're in your mind, if you're not thinking about that and you're like, that's the same actor, then you're thinking, not much time has passed, but you're like, he's an elf. He can live forever.
What they could have done is they could have had Adar change, right? He should have been more smooth skinned or something like that but when they kill him to show, time has passed based on Adar's looks.
Yeah.
Like little clues like that, they all add up.
Or the orcs
really
talk
do.
with, a certain accent.
Or all the orcs have gray hair now.
They got beards and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think those things matter, though. I know you're joking around.
I think that's the same thing that's my big complaint of that because I was like, I ended up realizing a lot of time had passed after once I was thinking like, oh, wait. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. Yeah. When he got killed, it's been like hundreds of years or thousands of years, depending on what timeline they're using.
I think little things like that help a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they did do that one shot of the cave, but that's not enough. They should have just...
I missed the whole rock formations until you mentioned it, and I went back and watched it. I was like...
Oh, yeah, I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
So when he's killed and the blood's pouring down... Like there's no rocks, and then it goes black, and it comes back. There's like a big rock, so like time. That's to signify like time has passed,
right?
Like
which they could have. I mean, I think that was their way of being like, we're gonna be real clever about this, but I'm like, I think you were too clever for your own good. Just be like, just put a number out there. But I mean, I thought that scene with the orcs was pretty sweet. Yeah, him like, cool. He gets backstabbed, and you get to see like he's like pretty powerful.
So. That kind of goes into my biggest thing that I like about this is that I think this show does the best when there's scenes, like set pieces, battles, fighting, something creative, something where they're doing things. I love it. I'm totally in on those scenes, and I think it makes it. But when they're just sitting around talking, it just feels
it drags.
It drags a lot, and I'm just like. I know what you guys are trying to do. I think you guys are trying to emulate like other shows like House of Dragon and those where it's all, talk, this person, that, drama. And I'm just like, I don't know, like embrace action and fun set pieces and interesting things like that. That's when it does the best. So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're good. But yeah, I mean, overall, I do think... I think at first I was kind of like what you're saying about Elrond and Galadriel. I was like, I don't know how. I think I'm 50-50 on it. But I think it does make sense the way they're portraying Elrond to be like, why would he have a reason to trust them? You know what I mean? Because Galadriel's like, well, he didn't directly do anything with him. And he's like, well, he was still helping out the whole time. So I like that aspect of it because like from reading the book, all you know is like, Sauron didn't directly create them, so they were outside of his influence as far as the rest of the rings.
Yeah.
Like he still has when he creates the one ring, he still has power over all the rings because of the way they were made in that aspect. But the fact that like, oh, you know, like how do you actually display that and how do they figure that out? I think that's an interesting way to play it out. Like it would make sense for Elrond to be like, no, this is super sketchy, dude. Like,
no, yeah, he was there.
Right.
He was a part of the...
So I do like that part of it. I think in this last episode, like, I think he's going a little too far where he's like, oh, she was just trying to save the ring.
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to save.
That was weird.
But I do think, I mean, that's just kind of like the two extremes of the situation. You know, eventually they're going to find the middle ground. But I've enjoyed it so far. And I really liked all the stuff with Celebrimbor. Like, I know people were like, how is this going to make sense? He's just going to...
I thought they did it well when people were wondering like, how is he going to deceive? It's the same thing with Anatar. You know, people were saying like
he's just wearing a wig.
Gifts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I saw some pretty funny like memes about
but even
him switching. And it's like
when they switch, because originally he comes before and he deceives them, right? In the timeline. So I was like, how are they going to do that? But I think they did a pretty good job with the information he has and not knowing who he is, but Galadriel being like, oh, he's someone else.
Right.
And then him using like his sorcery to present himself as someone else. That actually works for me. And I'm surprised that it works so well for me. Because at first I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to pull this off. And I'm like, it actually has been pretty good.
It feels a bit forced for me. And I don't know everything about Celebrimbor. If I did, maybe I would have a more accurate read on this if this feels reasonable and if how they're doing this is makes sense with his character. I'm not sure. Because just based on this, like the show, it's like, okay, like they're playing him off as really wanting to just be, and I think this is accurate to the story. He wants to be a master of his craft. He wants to be the best crafter.
Most beautiful thing.
Like he's just so intent on that. I think that is accurate to the lore. And it's like almost to this point of like, is he old or not? Like
he's old. Yeah, he's old.
He's like one of the older ones, right?
Yeah. And the biggest thing about him, so like they've mentioned it a little bit in season 1. They talk about his grandfather Feanor, who created the Silmarils.
Right.
And in the first season, they give you a line where he's like, it was something that he created that was so beautiful that they said that when Morgoth, basically the devil, looked at them, he shed a tear. Like it was so beautiful, it almost turned
the most
his
evil
heart.
person.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Feanor has this whole history with creating the most beautiful thing in the world. And then being so wrapped up in it that he kills people, like he kills his own people just because they're looking at his jewels. Yeah, he's like,
it's actually crazy.
He's like, you can't look at them anymore. I'm hiding them away. So there's like this whole aspect of that. It actually, like the Silmarils capture the light of the trees.
Yeah.
And then when Morgoth destroys the trees, which you see in season 1 in the prologue, the Valar are like, hey, you know, the light of the trees is in the Silmarils. If you want to lend those to us, we can restore the light. And he's like, nah, I'm good, bro. These are mine.
So my question is, Celebrimbor, how is his character affected by his father? Is it I want to emulate my father, I have that part of him in me where I want to make the most beautiful thing just like my father did? Or is it like I want to live up to that? Or like, how does his character make sense?
So it's more of that, like, I want to achieve that level of greatness kind of a thing. Okay. So, and I think that's what I think they've done a good job at least in season 2 with those conversations of like, and that's kind of how Sauron gets into it there is he's like, hey, the rings work. Like, and I think that's why he's like, I cried, you know, he's like, are you weeping? And he's like, finally I've achieved something.
Yeah.
And then he just keeps kind of pushing him. So I think they've done a good job in that.
I think that made sense. Yeah. I think the story in the show suffers from time dilation where it's like, dude, you just got rid of this guy who's obviously Sauron. Like, and now there's a guy who's doing the exact same thing, posing as a different person. Like, are you really that stupid? How much time has passed in between that? Because that would make the difference for me. Because if it's, you know, the next week, that's stupid.
Yeah.
If it's 30 years or 10 years or something like that, okay, that makes sense.
I think it's just been clunky how they did it.
Yeah, I think so too.
there's that
because they have everything else running at the same time. So
yeah, and weird. Technically, he was never told that Halbrand was Sauron.
Right. She just said, "Don't."
Right.
Hey, don't you talk to him?
Right, but for a reason.
But was clunky, right?
Right.
And he even has a line where he says
stupid.
"Oh well, why did Galadriel, say that about you?" And he's like, "Oh well, she told me, we're all good now," kind of thing. And so that to me is, on that you just kind of suspend your disbelief and be like, okay, that's what they're going for. Galadriel never told anybody. She should have, but she felt like
embarrassed.
Right. Guilt.
Yes,
so
guilt.
because of that, now she's allowing this all to happen. I just wish it was done a little better. I actually kind of wish the Halbrand character wasn't around. Does that make any sense?
What do you mean that character? You wish that persona didn't exist?
Yes. I wish he would have shown up as Anatar in season 1.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
100%.
And they don't do the whole Halbrand thing. And because it just adds another layer of stuff that I'm like is unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's another level of deception.
I also think it'd be much more believable.
Yes.
Because it's
I feel like
a showing of power and like this like almost deity-esque power. And it's like, I'd listen to that too.
I feel like they wanted to have the kind of
Sauron?
Like
mystery box.
Yeah,
mystery box of who's Sauron, but also the aspect of a romantic, like Galadriel and him she falling for him and he deceiving her, and kind of that temptation of like, you can be my queen. Because it's kind of what they does when Lord of the Rings, where she passed the test, like to mess around with those kind of themes.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's then made this just a little like you said, not fit as well, because you have to remember
it's clunky the way you said it.
Because you have to be like, right. Okay, I got to remember he doesn't know. They never told him who's Sauron, so that's why he's doing this. But it's like, it's just an extra hoop you have to jump through that is unnecessary. For me.
Yeah.
But I really like how they've done the way they do Sauron's like sorcery and magic, like the way he presents himself, like in the furnace and all that kind of stuff.
And they're covering their butts a little bit too, like Sauron, like destroying that bridge and like forcing them a way harder way to get to him.
Yeah.
To like connect those missing pieces to make an excuse for this is why he doesn't know. It's like,
and even the aspects of like when they're making the dwarf rings, and he's gonna put the stuff in it and he grabs it, right? And you kind of see him doing stuff with his hands touching the material. You're like, oh, he's messing with the rings, like he's the one that's doing it. Yeah. I like how that's being played off, I just thought that was cool.
How do you feel about how they're representing the like power of the rings / influence of the rings, where it's like specifically like Galadriel's, where it's like slightly like glimmering a little bit, or working through like visions and stuff like that? How do you feel about that?
I don't mind the vision stuff. The one I'm not sure about is the healing
one
people. Like they heals the guy. I'm kind of like
you didn't like the fact that she was able to heal him.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if is that like in Tolkien.
I mean,
they have powers.
It's not. It's not like there's like a stat block for the rings. You know what I mean? That it's like you can use healing 3 times a day.
Yeah.
It's more of like
cure wound.
The way they describe them as it preserves their realm. So like Rivendell and Lothlorien are kept and preserved by the power of the rings, essentially. Okay. So I think they're making the leap of like, kind of like how it healed the tree, right? So it like healed it from its darkness.
Sure. So maybe you make an elf part of the realm then, or something.
I think they're trying to it can heal and preserve things. So why wouldn't it be able to heal somebody? Because it doesn't really specify what the powers are.
It's kind of a liberty they're taking.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sold on. But again, that to me feels more like a nitpick. Because it wasn't that big of a scene to me.
If she's over there resurrecting dead homies, like I'd be like, yo, chill. But it was like, oh, healed that arrow.
We talked a lot about Sauron and the kind of the elf side of it. What do you guys think about the Stranger, aka Gandalf, aka Blue Wizard?
It's Gandalf.
And Tom Bombadil, like that whole side of the story. Are you guys interested in that? Is that more boring to you? What do you guys think?
I still like that story because I'm interested to see what they do with the stranger. I think in the end, I think I'll be pretty bummed out if it's Gandalf, but they're pointing towards it so much, like calling it the Gand, the staff,
and
then
Alf.
and then they're like, oh, he's a grand elf or something like that. Also, the build up to his name. So I find it hard to believe that they're going to that has this emphasis on a name. Is I know what my name is in my heart, but when I hear it, I'll know it.
Bro,
like
they're making too big of a deal for it not to begin.
Exactly.
He's like, oh no,
right?
what is it? They're like, Blue Wizard. He's like, that's me.
That's me.
Blue last name Wizard.
No, like they're gonna like.
But he's just so obsessed with like the staff too.
Yeah.
And the Gan stuff.
So yeah.
And Bombadil being like, your future is like dealing with the big bads, basically.
He's like, my name.
Bro, that's
He's
Gandalf,
They're
bro.
like, Gambit.
Yeah, that's why everything explodes that he
crossover,
touches.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
He's got that staff too.
But I think I'll be disappointed because
true.
they're perfectly set up to tell the Blue Wizard story, and like for them just to be
Well,
like,
it feels like they're mixing it,
well, they essentially so they're telling the Blue Wizard story essentially,
but they're making Gandalf one of the Blue Wizards.
but they're making Gandalf one of the Blue Wizards, and if they make Saruman the other one, it doesn't make sense at all. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, Saruman was good up until
I don't know
later.
if that's Saruman.
Well, that's what people are saying. There's like people are like, oh, it's Gandalf and Saruman, but I would prefer for them to be both Blue Wizards.
But Saruman wasn't that evil.
Exactly.
He became
That wouldn't make no
evil
sense.
later.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You watched
Just like the Blue Wizard, right? The Blue Wizards come and then one of them becomes evil.
Right. So there's two versions of the
Yeah.
story. One of them, they both come over, they go to the east, and
But
then
what did Tolkien Sr. write about the
Tolkien
Wizards?
Sr. left. He basically was
He
like,
said they just got lost. Like they just
he originally wrote
went
it. He said they
east or whatever.
They went east, and he's like, and
that's ruined,
they were
right?
they were given over to cults of magic. So they created their own cult. So they messed up.
Okay.
They failed.
So they failed.
And then later, I think in one of his letters, he's like, well, they succeeded because if they hadn't have succeeded, basically when the War of the Ring
East
happened,
would've
the East would have just
came over.
overwhelmed everybody.
Yeah.
But because they didn't,
They were held
that
at bay.
tells you that that they did their job and they held off. They fought Sauron in the
That's
East.
right. That's right.
So
Yeah.
so they can basically tell both stories now. Like they can basically like, this is good Blue Wizard, this is bad Blue Wizard, and we're covering both stories that Tolkien had in his head. Which I was like, that'd be so cool.
I like that.
But it's gonna be lame when he's like,
It's Gandalf.
Randolph.
Grandolph.
Randolph?
That's my name.
Yep. That's right.
What's my name? What's my name?
It's Grandolph.
I do like the Dark Wizard. He's pretty cool, and I like the Mad Max guys.
The Mad Max guys look sick.
Apparently, those masks are all CGI.
Oh,
really?
The gold ones? The like.
Yeah.
Whoa. Those look great.
Apparently, that for whatever reason, they decided to do CGI masks.
Wow.
I'm like, that looks crazy. I wouldn't have never guessed it.
Me either.
Isn't that weird?
I'd love to see the version of with no mask on, just some random guy like, because they look so menacing with those masks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that they have a disease. Looks like, or like they've mentioned, like,
Well, they
cure us of the disease.
Yeah. The Dark Wizard
Has-
inflicted
yeah.
something on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like I'm which I didn't like in the first season, which I'm kind of shocked that I don't mind the Harfoots.
So not so many of them.
And no, but I don't mind the other ones either.
There's less of
I
them.
thought it was interesting for them to be like, oh, one of us left to find, and I was like, that's a cool concept. Like that one left and never came back. And she's like, are you back to show us? And she's like, no, we've been wanderers this whole time. I like that idea, knowing what they're leading it to. They're going to eventually find the Shire. Right. That to me is a cool concept that I'm like, it seems like a very insignificant story in the grand scheme of things, but that's exactly what Tolkien did with hobbits. Like the small, so for some reason, I'm like, I really like that concept. And I think they've done a good job of not spending too much time on it, but still developing that lore in a way that still makes sense and is like, oh, that's a cool little story that's kind of in the background.
But
when do you think we get crossover into other stories from that specific storyline? When does Gandalf start crossing over into the other stories? Do you think like next season type of thing?
I think he's still in the East, still far away doing his own thing. Yeah. I don't think it's going to...
Like, I think we're pretty far off, right?
What did they say? They have 5 seasons in mind?
Wasn't it 5?
Yeah, I think that's at 5.
5 sounded right.
So I'm thinking they don't...
Like season 4 or something like that?
That's what I'm thinking.
So he's got to... So
4, and then the final season would be 5 to be like...
Yeah. So he's got to hit a training arc in the next episode or something. Then he's
hitting
going
a bunch of trees.
I'm hoping like the last episode is him facing the Dark Wizard, I guess.
Yeah.
Something like that. But then, oh yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Because I feel like there's not a lot on that side of things except for here's like skirmishes with the other guys, like they're underling wizards or whatever. I don't know what they're called.
Well,
like there's going to be more like skirmishes and stuff. Like, I don't know.
And I know they're kind of on the nose with Gandalf, but I still am like, it could still be the Blue Wizard.
I really hope it is.
Because even with the Dark Wizard being like, he hasn't figured out who he is yet, so we have to take advantage. I'm like, that would be someone that would have known who he is before, right? If they came together and something happened. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like, I'm still holding out hope that they're going to pull that. But I feel like if they do that, people are going to be upset. Like, there are people like you that are going to be excited, me excited. But then there's other people that are like, they set up Gandalf and then they just did the wolf, people that don't really.
People would be very mad. But I would,
Well, here's the thing. Ryan Johnson isn't directing this, so he's not going to subvert expectations.
I don't know.
I don't know. I hope there's a scene where he.
If it was Ryan Johnson, I'd say for sure
green milk out of a.
If it was Ryan Johnson, I'd say it's the Green Wizard, and he would ride a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he'd have a flute. But yeah, I think Blue Wizard would be dope. We just don't know Blue Wizard's name. So they're stressing name.
Right, and that's when he's like...
just doesn't line up.
They never named anything, anybody?
No. There's... Tolkien, bro, they got 6 names.
Yeah. So that wouldn't work to be like, hey, my name is...
Yeah,
I'm
saying the way they set it up, you know what I mean? Of like, a name's important.
Too much emphasis.
He's not going to have like this big build-up moment where he's like, my name is Palando. And everyone's like, who? What? You know what I mean?
Bozo the Clown?
His name's
not Gandalf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my only thing.
Palando, the staff guy.
Yeah.
The grand staff guy.
I mean, what are the other names?
Staff sergeant.
I don't know, man.
Alatar and Palando, I think. And then the other ones are... I can't remember.
I just know they call them Blue Wizards because there are so many different names for them.
Yeah.
And it depends on what region, obviously. Kind of like how Gandalf had different names.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the other version, I can't remember what they're called, but it's like Darkness Slayer. It means Darkness Slayer. And the other one is like East Helper or something like that. I'm like, those are sick names.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the second one?
East Helper.
Okay, that's not sick. The first one's sick.
The Darkness Slayer?
East Help is like...
Yeah, he went to the East to help out.
Help to the Easterlings.
That's not sick, dude.
I'd take it.
East
if
Slayer.
someone said me, hey, you're the East Helper, I'm like,
that's right, baby.
What?
That's right.
Guys, anyone out there?
No.
Last thing we can talk about, Tom Bombadil. I think Tom Bombadil is interesting. I like that they used word for word the same like words he uses in Lord of the Rings when he helps the hobbits. He helped, with what's the
Old Man Willow.
Yeah, Old Man Willow, and then what was this one? Old Man
Ironsides or something like that. Ironwood.
I thought that was a cool nod that he would use that, like sleep,
They've done a lot of lines that are word for word quotes out of books.
And I like how he's fits in this universe. Like, he's not over the top, but he also fits.
Not true.
You can tell he is Tom Bombadil. Like him singing, him, kind of the weird scene where you hear Goldberry talking But then he's like, no one's
He's
here.
like, what?
I just thought that I like it. I think he's an interesting character, and he fits to me in this show. Corey disagrees.
Not yellow enough boots.
Yeah, dude, you gotta wear
He
them.
just doesn't look the part.
Wait till he
Should have the blue shirt on, the belt. Well, he has a belt.
It
He
was
has a
hanging
belt.
up. It was hanging up in
bro.
the background.
He needs the.
He pulled that off.
And
the
then he's
yellow
gonna-
boots.
Then
No.
he's gonna give his blue jacket to the blue wizard. He's like, hey, your
His hat.
clothes are dirty, homie. Here you go. Boom, blue wizard confirmed.
Blue wizard. Yeah. No, it was fine. I thought it was cool little details. I was interested to see how they do it because it can't be as fantastical and I would say borderline cheesy, you know, on some of the scenes in the books. But I think it played pretty decent. I don't know. It felt too small. Like it. I don't know. It is supposed to be kind of small scale kind of thing. I think it was fine. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I liked it. I feel like if you go like straight up, this is Tom Bombadil from the books, you're gonna lose so many people that are like, what? Like people.
Well, even the inclusion of it kind of surprised me that they even include it. So that's cool.
But I think he fits good. He fits well in the story. I like his portrayal. It's not super goofy, but it's still like it's strange enough.
It's like more of the strange, aloof part of him. You know, like, what voice? Huh?
Yeah.
And I liked his line. I can't remember the line exactly, but he was like, "Oh yeah, those stars, yeah, those are new. You know, like oh, those are newcomers, like kind of a thing. Like above those mountains, well, yeah, because he's kind of nodding at how old he is. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, his whole. I mean, it's from the book, but his whole like, I knew the first acorn for first rain.
Yeah, he was existing before stars were even created.
I knew the darkness before had fear, which is like. Yeah, before there was light, there was darkness, and that was before Morgoth, so there was no fear associated with the darkness. I think that's a cool line. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. He needs to sing a little more though.
Yeah,
I think we'll get a little more singing.
I wonder what the general consensus on that is, because what part of Bombadil? Because people do really like Tom Bombadil. Like it's a very like nostalgic little story and character. So it's like, I wonder if they miss the super silly goofiness or if they like this kind of cool version of him, if you could say that. I don't know. I haven't really been like listening around to see people's like reactions of it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
I saw people that were like, he was too serious. And why is he like, what does he care about what's happening?
Why did he drop the soap?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, why did he drop
What are you trying to say?
He's like, here, soap up. Soap up, Gandalf. What was the name of that soap? Maybe that's a hint.
Maybe.
Was the soap blue?
Who knows?
Never know.
Was it grand? Cool. It says like grand on it.
I thought the ends were cool. I like that little thing.
What did you guys think about that? That was cool.
That was cool. And I like their dialogue there.
I like their dialogue
forgiveness and stuff like that. That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. They brought it back to around your like cutting the tree down, which in the first season he was like, I don't want to like, no, we're not going to cut the tree down. But then he does it because they're going to kill the rest of the prisoners if he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool that they tied it back to like, you know, he's like, hey, I did cut a tree down, but wait, but it wasn't on purpose,
That's
bro.
not for felling trees. That's for felling orcs. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was a cool callback. And I like the Entwives.
I love how ultimately powerful they are. Like it's so cool. They're also a little quicker. They're a little quicker and than the movie. I mean, the movies they're
in their voice and their dialogue too.
Yeah, they're a little bit more youthful. Also, in the movies though, it was like just one. They were really old. Thousands of years old. So. But yeah, I thought it was cool, man. I thought it looked cool, looked good. What other story beats?
The dwarf stuff. I really like the.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I really like the. I think it's the intro to episode 2 where they're like, they have the earthquake and then it goes all the way at the farmer's market. Jonah's playing in the background. And
had Imagine Dragons as dwarfs.
And I like how it just like goes completely black, and you see like, oh, like the Sauron's influence is still affecting other regions in a way. But yeah, I do like the setup of, the the rings for the dwarves, the dad basically being all in, and Durin kind of being on Elrond's side of like, hey, you didn't trust this stuff before.
Yeah.
So why would you trust it now? Like that seems kind of sketchy. So I like how Elrond and Durin, even though they're not
and the wife
together
and
at
the
all,
wife is more on that page.
They're still united on that side. And I just really like.
You can tell he's getting torn. You know?
Yeah, I really like all that.
We love the Elrond and his relationship. Yeah.
It's the best.
I really enjoy
the dwarf stuff's been awesome. Even the dad and the son dynamic of like both being super stubborn. I thought it was really good, done really well.
The other part that I
want more of
the
story,
and hopefully we're getting more with the rings now.
Yeah,
I liked how
they're next up.
I liked how they did that too, where there's the invite.
Wait, are they gonna make human ones or the dwarf ones first? Dwarf ones first.
Dwarf ones first.
So you gotta get the.
He's like, I want to make the human ones.
Yeah.
I like the Numenorian stuff too. The stuff that's going on in Numenor, with the Palantir and all that kind of stuff. Isildur's sister, I can't stand her. She's annoying.
It's such a small amount, though. It's kind of like.
Well, but I'm not saying it in a negative way. It's like you're meant to not like that character.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're doing a good job at me not liking you.
Yeah.
Which I like that. Because she's not in the book, so she's a made up character. So I like that kind of like Isildur and her, kind of the opposites of that.
Yeah.
And speaking of Isildur, I like the fact that they're introducing us to him. He seems like a really good character, but you know that eventually he's the guy that he can destroy the ring and he ends up keeping it for himself. Like, I love that aspect of being like, what makes you become that way? You know, and you're seeing kind of step by step. Never meet your heroes, guys. Never meet your heroes. So yeah, I like what they're doing with the human side of these things, and you're going to see whatever that guy's name is totally destroy Numenor.
Farazan.
Yeah.
I do like this stuff, and they're introducing more of like the political dynamic of like, oh, he's here from the north or whatever. When he's talking, the guy that's talking to Farazan and stuff like that. And I like the Muriel stuff where she's. At first, I was like, last season, I was like, are they going to pretend like she can see the whole time? You know what I mean? I was like, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, just the fact that she's a blind queen. And she's reliant on the Palantir to see, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And they're distrustful of the elves in general. I thought that scene was pretty cool. I also like the scene where the lady slaps her. And you're like, dude.
Yeah.
Like
I said, when there's action, it does the best. Slap action.
But yeah, I mean, just her act of like hugging her and being like,
No, that was a good scene.
The eagle too showing up, I thought was cool, and how that
is okay. It wasn't the best.
I liked how,
that, right? It wasn't that good.
Well, I liked how it was supposed to.
If I would have walked faster than him to the eagle, they would have been like, "Yo, you're the man." He just walked up.
But that's the whole point. That's like the crowd seeing something and taking it the wrong way, right? Him kind of usurping that moment from her, even when he had already talked to her about it. I thought that was like interesting to be like,
nice man.
It's all based on perception.
Nice man. Yeah. You took advantage of a blind girl.
They saw what they wanted to see, and that's going to be their downfall.
Yeah.
They were already negative on her, the Palantir and stuff like that, and I don't think they like properly described that.
Them eagles. He saw it all, and he's like, "This guy." We're never going to come here again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what happens, right? They know they used to come, and then they just don't anymore.
Yeah, they used to.
They don't bless their blessings anymore.
The coronation or whatever. I think that one just for me suffered from just not enough airtime so far. Yeah. It's just been nothing, and then all of a sudden you have a little bit of a scene, and it's like, okay, remember what happened season 1? You better remember, and then they do a little bit, but it's just not a lot. It's just when you have so many stories going on at the same time, it's so hard to give enough, screen time to really build up good story and relationships with these characters. And so that's why, you have 2 or 3 stories that are good, and the other ones for me are just really weak. And so when those scenes come up, I just feel like, okay, a little bored when it comes to some of those, because I'm just not connected to those characters as much. That's why I don't like these big overarching, let's do 6, 7 stories at the same time.
I do think, though, that you can get away with it more because the episodes are so long. Like, they're an hour and 5 minutes, which I'm saying like you can.
You're getting like 15 minutes, like on each.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
and you're not even covering all of them.
Yeah, but I mean like in comparison to other shows we've watched, like when we watched Acolyte, and it's like 22 minutes, and they're trying to do all these things with characters, and it's like, wow, that was really quick. It doesn't work. Like in a show that that's
the bar's pretty low though.
Right, but what I'm saying is like in Star Wars shows or shows that have been put on when it's like 20 minutes to 30 minutes. You really feel like, okay, we really need to tell a story. This one, you have enough time. Not saying that they've done it perfectly, because I agree with you. Like there's certain storylines that I'm like, there's too much of this. You can cut out the Theo stuff. You can cut out, all this other kind of stuff. But I feel like it's not as bad because they've got like an hour and 5 minutes where
they
it's
have
like
more room to breathe.
I'm not saying that it's the worst thing ever. I'm just saying it suffers from that.
Yeah.
AKA, it's not all A's. You know what I mean? Like not 10 out of 10s for me. It's like some just suffer.
Couple B's, couple D's, couple
Exactly.
C's.
That's right. But yeah, so that was 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So we're already
halfway.
So we're seeing a Balrog?
Heck yeah, they've teased it in the first season.
Where are we seeing it, guys? Is Gandalf fighting a Balrog?
Yep.
Who's fighting the Balrog?
The Blue Wizard is fighting.
Here comes the
sorry,
Balrog.
the Blue Wizard. Where are we seeing that?
He's just gonna show up in Rec Shop and
Where? In the mines of
Khazad-dûm.
Khazad-dûm.
And then we're gonna be like, all right, guess we're moving out.
By the power of the rings, they fend him off. Heart.
Wind.
Water.
Hot. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think it's gearing up to be some cool
in my
stuff.
opinion, I think it is better than season 1.
Yeah.
But you're also building off the back of what they did in season 1. So
Yeah,
it's not a fair comparison, but in my opinion, it is a little bit better.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm enjoying it.
One thing I just thought about this. We should have talked about it in the news when we were talking about Lord of the Rings. But Peter Jackson talked about how he has about an hour. He's like 1.3 footage like of stuff that no one has ever seen. He's like that we filmed a ton of stuff, and he's like, and I'm considering doing an ultimate like cut of the Lord of the Rings. He's like, because it's really good stuff, and I'm like, yeah, they filmed so much stuff that I'm like,
are they gonna have Arwen show up at?
He said a definitive cut of the movies. I was like, I'd be down for that.
He just puts a whole like hard drive of the whole every scene.
Well, do you know what
just doesn't make sense?
It's just a hard drive.
Peter Jackson hasn't been doing he's been just doing technology stuff. Like he did the Beatles thing, where he watched a bunch of footage and made a little documentary thing.
I mean, you make it sound like it wasn't hard work.
No, but I'm saying
he just watched some footage.
But I'm
he
saying,
restored archival and footage and created this crazy
like he did
restoration.
that with World War I, like a ton of restoration. So I'm like,
the Beatles thing was really cool, by the way.
I'm like, the dude could be looking at his stuff and being like, hey, I got a bunch of stuff that I could restore it, throw it into the movies, and then release them, and people would go and watch it. I'd go watch it.
So I don't know how this works, but apparently they shot all that stuff in like 8K somehow.
Yeah.
So they don't even have the technology to recreate it,
stuff.
but they watched, like they filmed it all at super high fidelity back for that time.
Film. 8K back then?
I don't know, dude. I don't know
what is IMAX even considered.
I don't know where I saw that at, but I was.
This is another Goonies rumor.
Yeah.
This is from the Sun.
Dude, that's old.
But that's also why
4K wasn't even heard of back then.
And that's also why it looks so good. Like even if you rewatch Lord of the Rings,
so good.
You rewatch Lord of the Rings, you're like, dang, this holds up. This looks so good.
That movie's so good. Get out of here, bro.
Hey, we got to do a Lord of the Rings marathon. It's been a while since I watched those.
Dude,
I'm down.
So good, bro. Dude, nice. Lord of the Rings D&D game. That would be your jam right there.
I'm down.
You could be a Sildor.
I could be.
I see you more of like a Gollum type.
You're more of a Schmeagol. That's going to do it for our show this week. It took us a couple weeks to do another episode. Hopefully we'll do it next week. We've just been really busy, but I mean, great stuff coming up. We got the Penguin, Arcane, the Skeleton Crew, So there's stuff coming up that we're going to be watching. Obviously, the Minecraft movie and Sonic 3. Huge fans here. But you can follow us on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on X. We're on TikTok and Instagram. We'll be back next week with more of the Nerd Age. Thanks for hanging out with us.
See ya.
See ya.